What a head, son! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. In this video, I'll be taking you guys to my final team selection going to the upcoming Week 15. So the reason I'm making this is for those of you guys who can't make the deadline stream tomorrow, please, this is a reminder that I'll be doing a deadline stream 1 hour before the deadline, and I do think it's super integral to get the most up-to-date team as possible this week. The reason I'm saying that is obviously there is a lot to talk about with Man City assets. I will talk about early team use potentially in the next talking point though. But in this final team selection, I'll be going over all the latest injury news as well as my final team selection currently. Now in terms of my transfer plan, I am looking to take a -4 hit, so yes, with 2 game weeks to go before the next wildcard, I am taking a -4 hit, but when you guys do see my starting 11, I think you'll understand why. So comment down below if you guys are taking a hit as well, who are you bringing in, who are you captaining, but I'll remind you about those facts throughout the video. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So as mentioned in the introduction, early team use is going to be the flavor of Game Week 15, and the reason I'm saying that is that on screen you guys can see right now, there are 4 fixtures happening directly after the deadline. So quite a unique scenario here. 4 games don't have that Saturday lunch kickoff anymore. So there's potential for us to get team news. Now I want to say potential because please, this is not kind of a given. We might not actually get the Man City lineup, and if we don't, that's a real possibility. So please prepare yourself for that situation. Now in terms of the other teams, not super interested in a Leeds, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, that sort of thing. Even Wolves, Brighton, I don't own any of those assets. I'm not looking to bring any of them in. So definitely the game for me is going to be Man City versus Fulham, more for the Man City side of things, as I am looking to bring in a third Man City asset. But please just remember, if you guys are choosing to watch the deadline stream or just on Twitter before the deadline, it's not a given that we're going to get early team use, but it's going to be super helpful if we do. So for that reason, with 1 day to go till the deadline, I would just postpone my moves as long as possible. Yes, if you have the exact money for moves, if an option is going down in price or up in price tonight, I would act on that, but otherwise please wait for as long as possible. Now before we go into the Game Week 15 transfer plan and team selection, I want to give you guys an update on Game Week 14. Don't worry, this is going to be kind of a 1-minute review. You guys can see on the bottom right hand side, 63 points in Game Week 14. We saw a red arrow of about 20k places and now set at 172k. Now in terms of my overall rank target after Game Week 16, so before that second wildcard, I really would like to be in the top 100k, and that's my current target. Comment down below how your Game Week 14 score was. I've seen basically no green arrows currently, so if you guys did have one, you're probably pretty rare. While you're down there, also comment down below what your rank target is for after Game Week 16. I'm going to bring up the entire starting 11 and bench, and the only kind of bench topic to talk about is that Kurt Zuma is going to come off our bench for his 2-point appearance for the injured Haaland. Now in terms of the rest of the starting 11, super defensive heavy kind of game week, clean sheets from all of our respective options. Then we did also captain Mo Salah when we got news that Haaland was injured. Then in terms of the rest of the starting 11, the midfield and the forward, very disappointing except for Martinelli and Saka, but Saka also came off around the 20-minute mark. Now the last thing to take note of is 1 free transfer and 3.3 million in the bank, so we can make a big upgrade if we need to. Now before we talk about our transfer plan, let's go over the latest news in terms of the injuries. Now for my own team, there's going to be 2 options that I want to talk about. The first one is going to be Bukayo Saka. So in terms of Saka, last night he actually featured for the Arsenal game in the Europa League. So you're going to basically assume that he is going to be fit after pictures emerged from him in training on Wednesday and Tuesday. So if you guys do own Saka, you don't have to worry. He's going to be fit for the upcoming game weeks. If you want to sell him, I guess you can, as well as the fixtures aren't looking that strong. But with Chelsea away up next and Wolves away, I do actually fancy Arsenal to score in both of those games. Now for my own team, this does kind of open the debate of who to sell. If I want to bring in someone like a Phil Foden, would you guys sell Saka or Zaha? But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So in terms of Saka, he's 100% fine. I do expect him to start in Game Week 15 and also Game Week 16. Then go on to probably the biggest talking point of the game week, probably going to be on our thumbnail for Game Week 15's final team selection. It's me, Erling Haaland, with fixtures upcoming against Fulham at home and Brentford at home. Now after seeing those fixtures, you guys can understand why I do want to keep him in my FPL team, but to be honest, the news wasn't too concrete from Pep Guardiola in the press conference today. So all the banter was going around in terms of what we expect Pep Guardiola to say, and he actually said the classic, "we will see." To add more context to that kind of "we will see," he said that Erling Haaland's return to training, they're going to make a decision after today's training session whether he can play on the weekend or not. Now he also went on to say that he might play 90 minutes, might play less, but in terms of the starting position, if he's going to start, I'll probably captain him. So a little bit of an expectation there from Pep, not giving us too much context, and that's why that early City team sheet is so integral. So in terms of Haaland, I can't give you guys kind of any concrete information. I can't say that he's going to start or not, and that's why hopefully we do get an early team sheet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below though. Do you think that Haaland is going to play on the weekend, or do you think he's going to be on the bench or not in the squad at all? But now going on to our transfer plan for the upcoming game week, and as I mentioned in the introduction, I am expecting to take a -4 hit. I only have 1 free transfer, so that will therefore be 2 moves going to that Game Week 15 deadline. There's a lot of other scenarios to go by, but the one free transfer that I'm looking to make is going to be Mitrovic out, but for who? Now, there were a few options that were running through my head. Darwin Núñez looks like a great option. He has Spurs up next, which isn't the best fixture. We then had someone like a Calvert-Lewin who has great fixtures upcoming, but can't really trust Everton. And that's why the option that I'm probably going to go for is Callum Wilson. Now, yes, there was some speculation yesterday that Callum Wilson was actually suffering from sickness. In today's press conference, Eddie Howe said that he should be okay for Sunday, and therefore I think that he should be fine. But yes, there might be kind of a risk of him not starting. I'd probably say a 90% chance that he does start though, and that's why I'm confident making this move. But as always, wait for as much news as possible. I do expect him to actually rise in price tonight though, so if you guys can't afford this move with the price rise, I would do it tonight. So this definitely looks like the one kind of locked in transfer. In all my kind of combinations, this move was kind of a consistent, and that's why this looks like to be a move that I'm going to make. The one thing I will add here though is that if I do choose to sell Mo Salah in one of the other combinations I'm going to show you guys right now, Darwin Núñez might be an alternative just for some Liverpool attacking coverage. The reason for that is obviously in yesterday's ultimate guide we mentioned the best attack in terms of XG non-penalty currently per game, and that's why I do want some attacking coverage from that team. But right now Callum Wilson is the kind of shoe-in, the stats look great, Newcastle are playing a great brand of football, and Callum Wilson's on great form. But now's where things get a little bit stickier because in terms of that Man City team sheet, it's going to give us a lot of context to what other combination we go for. Now this is going to be one other move I make, and in terms of the transfer in, I am looking at a Man City asset, and that's how I want that early team sheet. Now you guys have seen the fixtures for Man City coming up, Fulham at home, Brentford at home. I do want to complete the triple up of Man City because they do have such a high ceiling. And that's why even if this move will be from -4, I'm 100% fine with that. I think the ceiling is there in terms of points to recover that -4, and that's what I'm going to go for with only 2 game weeks. Now the first scenario that we're going to cover is, let's just say we get the team sheet out, Haaland is benched, we also have Foden on the bench. The player that I would want to bring in and captain is going to be Kevin De Bruyne. We mentioned him on yesterday's ultimate guide, was actually rested in that Man City Champions League game, and therefore he should definitely start on the weekend. Now yes, I do have 3.3 in the bank, but I simply can't afford any other upgrade. I have to go for Mo Salah to Kevin De Bruyne. Now that's why I'm a little bit iffy about this move because I still do want to keep Mo Salah. I think this week, next week has a good potential of points, and Liverpool at least have some good attacking stats. But hands down, if Haaland's out, Foden's out, Kevin De Bruyne is the best asset to go for in terms of captaincy. Does also make the -4 a little bit easier because I'm captaining the player I bring in. I always mention to you guys that if you're going to captain the player you bring in for a hit, they're more likely to repay it. Now, do I think both Haaland and Foden will be benched? Probably not. I think maybe one of them will be, and that's why Kevin De Bruyne is an outside punt if I want to go for it. But now let's go for a more realistic option. For example, let's just say that Haaland is going to start, which I do think there's a great chance of him actually playing. I'll therefore go for a cheap alternative in the midfield department. Now, in terms of the early team sheet, it could be Grealish, it could be Mahrez, it could be Foden. I'm going to go for Foden right now because I think that he's the most realistic option to go for the next 2 game weeks. And the reason I'll go for Foden over Kevin De Bruyne is that with Haaland starting, I'll definitely captain Haaland over a KDB, and that's why I'm fine with going for a cheap alternative. Now, it's a little bit annoying though that Man City have picked up kind of some rotation. Mahrez, Grealish, Foden, we can't exactly predict who's going to start both games. That's why Kevin De Bruyne was actually a nice little option to go for. But it is what it is at the end of the day, and in terms of Phil Foden, if you guys watch my transfer plan and my team selection, I originally was taking Bukayo Saka out for him. Now, because Saka's back in training, I do trust the Arsenal attack more than the Crystal Palace one. I'm actually going to take out Wilfried Zaha in game week 15. Now yes, Zaha does have the Nottingham Forest game in next game week, but I do think Phil Foden, if he starts one of these games, has a higher ceiling than him. So if we do get early team news that Foden is going to play, this could be Mahrez as well. If Mahrez is going to start, this will be the move that I also go for a -4 hit. Now as mentioned earlier on, this is dependent on if Haaland does start the fixture, because if he doesn't, Kevin De Bruyne is a better alternative. So in terms of those 2 scenarios, I believe that those are kind of covering my bases. It's whether Haaland starts or not, whether Foden starts or Mahrez starts. I think that these 2 options for the -4 hit cover all situations. But you guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you bringing Kevin De Bruyne in? Are you bringing Foden in? I definitely wait for that early team sheet if you guys are going to do those moves. But let me know what your current thoughts are. So taking in those 2 transfers, I'm going to go for the more realistic option. Let's just say that Haaland does play in the fixture. I'm going to go for Phil Foden in, then also Callum Wilson. So in terms of our bench here, you guys can see that Anderson is going to be our first bench option. If he does have to come off the bench, that's fine. Don't necessarily expect him to keep a clean sheet here, but there is a potential if I do need him. Then the rest of the bench kind of picks itself. Danny Ward against Everton could keep a clean sheet there, but I'm not going to trust him for that one. Then Andreas against Man City and Neco Williams against Brentford. Those are 2 benchable assets. Then go on to our back line, which has not changed in all the transfer plans. Pope and Trippier against Southampton away. Great fixture on paper. We have Cancelo and Zuma with home fixtures respectively, where I do expect them to keep clean sheets. So I guess Kurt Zuma allows me to kind of lose Wilfried Zaha a little bit easier, because if he does blank and Crystal Palace blank, I will get those Zuma clean sheet points. Then moving on to midfield department, we've got Salah and Foden as the single player teams. They have Spurs and Fulham at home respectively. Then you have Martinelli and Saka against Chelsea away, which is a tough game on paper, but I do still think Arsenal will score. Then finally heading onto our forward line, Haaland captain against Fulham if he does start the fixture, Callum Wilson against Southampton, which I expect him to do quite well in, and finally Solanke against Leeds, and he's quite cheap, so any points are going to be valuable. So this starting 11 does look a lot better, especially without the yellow flags for Saka and Haaland at the current moment, but I guess it does cost the -4 hit. Let me know what moves you guys are doing, as well as who's your captain going to Game Week 15, but don't worry, you guys can only tell me in the deadline stream tomorrow if you want as much news as possible. But this is going to wrap it for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't like if you didn't subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hopefully I do see you guys in the deadline stream, but if I don't, hopefully the green arrow is in your favor for Game Week 15. But I'm going to sign off, Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.